All right, introducing Janine.
I was only a couple of days old when my parents were told that their daughter would never see. My mother had a hard time accepting this, and she looked at the doctor and she says, "What if she could see something? What would it be?" "Mrs. Cooney, you need to understand, your daughter will never be able to see." And she looked at him and she said, "What if you're wrong?" He thought about that for a minute. And he said, "You know, maybe if she saw something, she might see the color red. No promises, but maybe." So Mom went home and she redecorated the nursery. Everything was brightly colored. The crib and the blankets and the toys and the walls. And those walls were the brightest shade of red you can imagine. I don't know, Ronald McDonald's hair. It was bright. Mom always treated me like I could see. And when I was about 10 months old, she took me back to the doctor's office. "She can see." "Mrs. Cooney, I told you it's not physically possible. You've got to be giving her verbal cues. You just don't realize it." My mother put me on the table and walked out of the room. "Mrs. Cooney, where are you going? You can't leave her here." Over the next few minutes, his desk was turned upside down as I picked up everything I could get my hands on to look at it closer. And when Mom came back into the room, he says, "Okay, take her for starters." And as he put everything back together, he says, "You're right. She can see. But I can't do anything about it." Well, my mother looked at him and she says, "What about glasses?" He laughed at her. "You can't put glasses on a baby. She'll never wear them." So there's my mother. And she just stood there. Now, you know that look? Anybody who's been under that kind of a look, you will do almost anything to get out from under it, and he felt the same way. We walked out with a prescription in hand for a pair of glasses. "But you'll never get her to wear them," he says. So my mother took home an empty pair of frames, and over the next month, we played with those glasses. And the day finally came to go back for that pair of glasses. And we walked into the doctor's office, and I was holding onto her hand so I wouldn't run into anything as I walked in the door. And they put me up in that big chair. And put that pair of glasses on my face. Wow. I could really see. That was incredible. Well, they let me out of that chair and I took off out of that room. Mom had to chase me to catch up. We got home that night. It's time to go to bed. It's been an awesome day. I've seen all these cool things I didn't know existed. We got ready to put me in bed and take off my glasses. That sweet angelic child, I threw my first temper tantrum, and I wore my glasses to bed. Well, I was talking to Mom a few years ago. We were laughing about how many doctors over the years have said the same thing. "How do you see? There's no way you could possibly see," you know. And I said, "Mom, what made you realize, what made you have the courage to tell those doctors that they were wrong when they all said no?" She stopped. "Janine, I didn't know that you could see, but I knew that never wasn't an acceptable answer."